Heh, heh. What's up, YouTube land? How you doing? Hope you are comfy. It is not comfy here right now. It is very. I'm gonna date ourselves here. It's like March 6th or something. Anyway, around here in PA, it becomes March and everyone's like, late spring. No. March is still pretty brutal, and it is so windy. It blew over our entire. So our recyclables thing is like a huge bin, like I don't know, 4 feet tall or whatever. It's one of those like big industrial grade ones, and it flipped over the whole damn thing. So annoying. Yeah,
I came home to that. I was like, oh crap.
I just put it out like an hour before, so I just hope it makes it through the night without flipping again.
Yeah. So we're back on Brio for a second. Now that we have the ship grapple and the plasma beam, we can get a extra energy tank, and most importantly, an energy cell. Can you open?
Nope.
This is probably the most ridiculous energy cell in the game. It is just... I can't believe anyone ever figured this out.
That's what Nintendo Power was for.
Yeah, literally. I mean, it's not like the most ridiculous thing, and I haven't got to it yet, but there's a ruined ship that you can explore, and the reason why we need the energy cells is that we have to get to the upper point of it to get some coordinates for the final planet, basically the final boss. And there's 9 energy cells altogether, but you only need 5 to beat the game if you know what you're doing and you don't waste any of them. And you need 6 if you want to get the energy tank, so I'm going to get 6. But I said this a couple sit-downs ago, but the energy cells are definitely the worst part about this game. It's exactly like the Chozo artifacts and the Sky Temple keys from Metroid Prime 2, where it's just like a big backtrack thing to get you to go through the planets again with all your power-ups, but you're kind of just going around with like very vague clues. At least they give you something, but it's not super helpful, and especially this one. Just to kind of explain what's going on, we have to open up a 2-way gate on both sides of this planet, and if you do it in the wrong order, you get stuck on the one end, so that's a big red flag right there. But you have to open up the gate. We'll see it in a little bit. You have to open up the gate from here, and then know to go back and board your ship again, and then go back to the other place, and then open up the gate from there. And opening the gate from here is not... Dude, the plasma beam is worthless. You have to know there's this ridiculous puzzle to open up this one in the first place, but we'll get to it.
Here's a question of the part for you folks. And I'm going to ask it to the people in the room as well, which is me and Trevor. What is the most ridiculously hidden item that you can or should pick up in any game ever? I want to be clear, I'm not talking about like an Easter egg. You know how like they'll be like, gamers just found an Easter egg in Ocarina of Time after 30 years. Like, that doesn't count. I'm thinking more of like things you should or ought to, or part of the 100%, where they're just so hidden that you're like, are you serious? A famous example is in Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest for NES, when you get to this ledge at the end of the world, and you have to equip the blue crystal, I believe it is. Might be the red crystal, I kind of forget. And then kneel down for like 10 seconds. And then a tornado comes and takes you to a new place. And that one is something you absolutely have to do. It's not like... I'm fairly certain it's not something that you can get around.
So step 1 of this, we have to pick up this dilapidated head on this giant statue. So you have to know to go over here and pick up this thing with your ship. That's step 1. Most obscure thing. I mean, there's definitely... You said no, like, obscure Easter eggs, right?
Just yeah, I would say, like, items to pick up, because...
Because I know that they added that, like, in Silent Hill 2 Remake, they added an Easter egg of the Comic Sans Silent Hill 2 wrench sign to make fun of it. But, like, you have to, like... I don't even know how people figured out it immediately because apparently you have to like clip out of bounds or something.
Anything you have to clip, anything you have to clip out of bounds, or go into the game's code, or use a Game Shark for, whatever. Game Shark still exists, but for old games, you know. There's a good example actually that I've never done it, but you've told me about before. I want it. Oh man, I forget if it's Star Ocean or FF12. That
the Zodiac Spear.
What is it? You have to.
You have to know not to collect a bunch of chests throughout the entire game.
Like very specific chests.
It's like the most random chest. There's like 6 of them in the game, but it's just the most random crap.
I mean, come on. It's literally impossible.
And then it gets even worse. So you have to do that, and then you have to go to one of the hardest places in the entire game, which is completely optional. There's a lot of optional areas in that place. So it's an optional area, and then you have to go through this area that's hard, and then know that there is a invisible chest in some place now, and when you open that, you get the Zodiac Spear.
I mean, I can't think of anything crazier than that. Now,
there's a crazier one in the same game.
In the same game.
It's only the Zodiac Job System version, which is like the PS4 remaster version. We didn't have it until then. But in that one, there's a bow. I forget exactly what it's called. It's like the Sagittarius or something. It's S something. But this is the most ridiculous one in the world. There's a hidden chest that has a 1% chance of spawning on when you airship travel in that game. There's a 1% chance of a invisible chest spawning on the deck of the ship, and then in that 1% chance is a 1% chance to get the bow. And the bow is literally invisible. It's the best weapon in the game, but the bow, when you use it, is invisible. It is just...
So if you open that, if you have the 1% chance of the chest appearing, and you open it, is it open forever? Do you have to save scum or something?
You can respawn it, but if you just open it and you get the 99% chest, it's just 1 gil.
Okay, but you can do it over and over again on the same save. Okay.
And then, of course, people figured out RNG manipulation.
Right.
I remember doing that when I did everything in Zodiac Job System, but you like make another save file, and then you have to play like the intro part with Rex, and you have to cast like magic until you get 3 specific numbers in a row, and then that creates this specific RNG seed, and then you load up your main file, and then you travel on an airship. Oh, by the way, that's what we had to do to open up this place.
Right, because you dropped off the head.
And after that, you have to board the airship, get on the deck, and then you have to wait a very specific time where like there's an NPC that is jumping up the stairs or walking up the stairs. And at the peak, when they reach the top step, that's when you hit A to get the chest.
Wow.
All right, so if you just wanted to get the energy tank, this is all you have to do. I mean, it's already ridiculous, but so it's up here.
Speaking of random drops,
and now on the other side, there's another one that's exactly the same, but there's no way to do it from here. Whoops.
It's over.
It's over.
2 damage. Come on.
Yeah, you see that? There's another one over there, but there's no way to get it. You have to go to the other part of the planet and then do that.
I kind of like stuff like that in games where you can clearly see an item.
Oh, yeah.
But you can't get to it till later. But just the fact that it's so random is...
I don't think this is, like, a brutal secret or anything, but I think it's probably the most, like, convoluted thing in any Metroid Prime game.
I gotta be honest, I'm at the point in life, and I've been this way for a while, where if a game involves like getting a lot of like rare drops, and it's not like a skill-based thing or even like a grinding-based thing, like essentially a lottery system. Like if I know, okay, if I want to master Knights of the Round in Final Fantasy VII, I can kind of do the math and be like, okay, I'll do this many battles and it's gonna take this long, and I'll know, right? But, like, if a game involves, like, kind of like that 1% of 1%, and it's just doing the same thing over and over again and hoping you get lucky...
It's so dumb.
I'm just not a fan of that. Like, it can be used to some extent. Like, it's been used in RPGs for years, where it'll be like, hey, you beat an enemy, and 80% of the time it drops common item, and 20% of the time it drops uncommon item. You're like, okay. But... a great example is I forget exactly which one's the worst, but it's one of the Castlevania GBA games. Probably the second one. It's not a Circle of the Moon. It's probably Aria of Sorrow. No, Harmony of Dissonance, where the souls you get from enemies sometimes are really, really, really rare. And it's like, I don't
Aria
want...
of Sorrow.
Aria of Sorrow.
And Dawn of Sorrow.
I don't want to have to enter, and I did because I was stupid, because I wanted 100% the game, but, like, just exiting and entering a room over and over again, killing the enemy, exiting, entering, is just boring. Like...
Yeah, that's the entire game if you want to go for 100%.
I view it as different than, like, just grinding, because grinding I can go to different places and do what I want, but it's like, oh, this enemy has a 1% drop, better get lucky. It's like, oh, God. And again, some RNG is okay in games, obviously. Not everything can be 100% lay skill-based.
Yeah, I would say that RNG drops are, like, probably the best in, like, turn-based RPGs, where it's just, like, kind of mindless and whatever.
Yeah.
But, one particularly bad one, I mean, a new entry just came out, like, this week. Monster Hunter is all about, like, rare drops. And, like, Monster Hunts can take, like, a while. Like, Monster Hunts can take, like, up to 20 minutes. And you're looking for, like, a couple, like, rare drops that have, like, a 5% chance. It's not, like, ridiculously low. But, you know, it's a 5% chance on a 20-minute fight. So that's why, like, all Monster Hunter games, if you want good armor, are, like, just... You have to, like, invest, like, 500 hours of your life into it.
Ferris and I have this meme where we like going to the, arcade. You know, the ones where you can get tickets and stuff. It's just a fun thing to do. Anyway, there's this guy we watch on YouTube. He's a pretty good content creator called Arcade Matt, where he just...
I think I've seen that guy.
Yeah. He actually lives in Pittsburgh, so I'm always like... And he's always traveling PA. I'm like, bub, we're going to see Arcade Matt. You know, obviously we're not going to, but it's... Anyway. And he'll always say, like, certain games, he's like, it looks like luck, but it's actually skill. And it's like a Wheel of Fortune game where all you do is just pull a lever and then it like spins like a big like Wheel of Fortune kind of thing. And every time we see one of those games, we're like, all skill, when it's like not at all skill. Like there's no way you could ever be good enough to be like, yes, I have to do it exactly this hard. It's like, no. Although
and a lot of times, like those type of things, they have like variable strengths.
Yeah.
You just have no idea.
Well, and he'll say it's all skill, but then he'll like stand up. He'll stand in front of it and put his arms behind him and like do it behind him, and I'm like, yeah, okay, it is definitely not all. There are some arcade games that are all skill, but not that one. But yeah, I don't know. Having drops is cool, but again, that's why like. If someone was like, here's a free copy of Monster Hunter, play with us, I'd be like, I just don't want to.
Yeah.
The time investment
it's
is
like a fun game, but man, the grinding is just like... Yeah. I got really into Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate on 3DS. Here's the next part of this ridiculous thing.
Let's do it!
You have to pick up this power generator, and you have to do this after opening up the other path, because when you get to the two-sided bridge... This is used on the other side of the planet. So if you do this first, then you're hard locked and you just have to backtrack.
Wow.
But yeah, Monster Hunter is a weird series. Like, it's fun, and I like it, but it's so hard that you need good armor, but you can only get good armor by grinding a bunch of stuff.
Seems like it sold pretty dang well. I mean, I know on PC it sold really well.
Monster Hunter ever since World has been, like, very mainstream.
Yeah. And that's honestly, like, somewhat surprising to me. Like, that's cool, because I feel like a game like that 20 years ago would have been very niche. And it is just, that is not the case anymore. People just like games where you have to put tons and tons and tons of hours into them.
Yeah, and I can understand trying to get, like, the most value out of a game, but I guess I'm just at the point in my life where I have so many games I want to play and a limited... amount of time and especially attention span.
I mean, it's all about how you do it. Like, did you see the movie Oppenheimer? It came out, what was that, last summer?
I did.
Okay, so Christopher Nolan one, it's like 3+ hours, but I saw it in theaters, and literally, when it ended, I was like, oh my god, that was 3 hours. Like, it was just so gripping and good. It was a very good movie. It was everything I liked, just like smart dialogue and a period piece and whatever. But I've seen movies that are like horror movies that are like 80 minutes long that I'm like, oh my god, please end, you know? So it all depends on how good it is.
Yeah.
Like, of course, the dream is to have a game where it's like 100 hours long and have it to all be good, you know? But
yeah, the
that's
more
tough.
hours that game has, the more of a chance it is that the game is just uploaded to...
I mean, I got to that point with
filler.
FF7 Rebirth where the last, 20 or so hours, I was like, I am not having fun.
Yeah,
I am just doing this to do it.
I really hope that they chill on the Ubisoft stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully they learned, whatever.
Especially if they're gonna, like, if I have to, like, redo areas, because I would assume they can go back to, like, you know, Junon and, like, all the places that are in Rebirth, now that you have the airship.
Yeah.
But if they make me do, like, everything again, but it's just, like, slightly different, I'm just like, I don't know if I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Just for some reason, I was like, I'm gonna platinum this. I never platinumed the first one. I got very close. I didn't do a lot of the,
Alright, and now we have to drop this generator in here, and we're finally done.
yeah.
But just the fact that you have to open up the one-sided gate on the other side of the planet, and then come to here, and then traverse the two-sided bridge that's now open, if you did in that specific pattern, and then come back here and then drop it just to get an energy cell.
I do like Samus's ship kind of being like a character, or
Yeah,
or at
that's-
least, yeah, I would say kind of a character. You have to fix it and you utilize it.
Yeah, that's
I've never seen that before.
That's the biggest addition, other than the waggle controls of this game, where they really made the airship more of a thing.
Does it have a name?
I don't think so.
Huh. So weird.
It might. I don't know.
Well, you know, it's like the Millennium Falcon and the, what is it, Star Trek Enterprise. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
people are very hardcore about, like, spaceships. You know what I mean? Like, how they're made.
It might. Do you want to look it up?
My phone is unfortunately
Oh.
charging upstairs. I apologize.
And I have
My phone-
things I want to do.
My phone is not long for this world.
Rip.
It's so it's, you know, when charge ports start to go, and you like have to put the cord in very specifically. It's getting to the point where it has to be really, really, really tight to go. And also, I feel like it's taking a lot longer to energy cell. I feel like it's taking a lot longer to charge. I mean, the phone is old. I just don't want to change phones. I don't feel like it.
Yeah.
Just because thinking about all the stuff I have to do, like, even just like logging into everything again, it's like, cool, Facebook, Messenger for the store, all the emails I have to log in. I'm like, oh my god. Retro Bowl, I mean, will that move over to my new phone? I don't even know. It's like, it's a fun game me and Ferris play. It's like Tecmo Bowl, but it uses, obviously, touchscreen controls. Pretty good.
I figure if it's still in the Google Play Store, it's good to go. But yeah, I mean, transferring a phone is so annoying.
Oh no, I meant like the data from it.
Oh, I don't know. Depends if it has an account system.
I'm like 10. I don't think it does. I think I'm like 10 seasons in, and I'm like, no.
All right, time to finish up Sky Town.
Let's do it. Board the Millennium Samus. Oh, speaking of the Millennium Falcon, I won't make this a very long thing, but I'm glad to see the general sentiment of Force Awakens now 10 years later, because it has been literally 10 years, which is crazy to think, is that it isn't good and wasn't like... Because everyone loved it back when it first came out, and I didn't. I saw it, like, I don't know, 6 months after it came out, because I didn't see it in theaters, because I don't give Disney money. At least not me. I mean, Ashley does, but I don't. So whatever, it counts.
It's called the Gunship, also referred to as a Hunter-class gunship.
So just gunship, huh?
Gunship. Also, Starship? I've never seen that before. Yeah, it's gunship.
Anyway, I'm very happy to see that people are generally now being like, Force Awakens was actually laid bad. There's this,
It's one of those movies that I think it would have been regarded as good, even though it's like obviously just a complete retread of New Hope, if the following movies were any good.
Right. Yeah, that it is weird how doing something later can kind of ruin the reputation of something earlier. It definitely happens in games and stuff all the time.
Yeah, there's stuff like series that continue forever. Like it's just like there's always that moment. Like even like Zelda has like Skyward Sword, which just makes like they try.
Nothing's perfect. Yeah.
It's like they try to like answer like questions that like fans have, but they always just do it in such a like a disappointing way. It's like, oh, why is there a bunch of Zelda games where basically the same story is told over and over? Oh, it's because of Skyward Sword. It's demise cursed Link's bloodline, and now he's going to be reincarnated over and over. It's like, lame as crap. You did not need to explain this.
Yeah, that happened to me with... Ooh, cool. This is cool. With Metal Gear, now that Kojima's being kind of like a hack with MGS4 for sure, kind of 5... Although I know he was ham-fisted, and Death Stranding.
5 is weird because it's like half-finished, but I think the only Metal Gear game that's like a really slap to the face is 4.
Yeah. But now I just kind of look back on, especially like, I think 3 is an excellent game, but I look back even now on 1 and I'm like, man, it was like way ahead of its time and unbelievably important, but like, just not the greatest of games nowadays. And 2 is complicated because I'm just like, oh my god, story please. But that's just me. Like, again, just seeing him like kind of go off the rails, I'm like, it just makes you question like, were they ever really as good as I thought?
Whoops. What?
This is cool.
Yeah, this is a strange boss, but it's kind of cool.
Well, and the background is so awesome with the, like, moving mouths or whatever.
Can you lock on?
Someone asked a good question the other day online, speaking of Force Awakens, where they were like, hey, it's been 10 years since Force Awakens. I was told when it came out that, you know, all the kids that grew up watching it would be like, still really into it and kind of like champion it. You know how there's a bunch of people in their late 20s, kind of like Nate, who like champion the prequels and are like, I don't care, I know they're not great, but I love them, kind of thing. And he was like, okay, where's that for the sequels?
There's no one left.
And someone was like, well, the sequels were made for original fans. And I'm like, yeah, that's smart. Make something 40 years later for like 50-year-olds.
It's just so... Oh, wow, that boss is so easy. It's just so divisive because there are people that defended Episode 8, that they liked Episode 8, but then Episode 9 was like directly being like, Episode 8 sucks. It's just like, it doesn't count, nothing counts.
Yeah, right.
It's just a complete read-over. So it's like the people that were fans of Episode 8 are now feel like they're like betrayed. And then Episode 9 doesn't satisfy the people that didn't like Episode 8 because it's a gigantic disaster.
I gotta be honest, I only watched it once, but Episode 8 was my favorite of the 3. I'm not saying it's good, but of the 3, it was the one I like the most.
It's the most different, but it's
the most different. I've heard people say it's a decent movie, but an awful Star Wars movie, and I can accept that. Because I'm not a huge fan, you know, of the series. So sometimes that kind of stuff does happen. Just like, I don't know if there's a case with video games where you're like, well, it's a pretty good game. Like, say, like Metroid Prime 3, if you were like, it's a pretty good game, it's just not a great Metroid game, you know, kind of thing. I'm not saying it's specifically for this one, but kind of stuff does happen.
Yeah, it's weird because they're like, there's even people that like Other M, Resident, friend of the channel, Andrew Dobson, likes Other M. So there's people that like that piece of garbage.
No. But does Andrew Dobson not like anything Nintendo related?
Yeah, he hates like the modern depictions of Zelda and Mario. He hates Italian Mario. He only likes Brooklyn, westernized cartoon Mario for some reason.
Wait, I don't understand. I thought he used to be Brooklyn. Or I thought he used to be, like, way back in the day with, like, the Mario Brothers show.
Yeah, like, he loves that because it was his childhood, but he hated the change, like, Charles Martinet Italian Mario.
Oh, okay. Interesting. What a weird opinion.
It's like, I can understand liking Brooklyn Mario and, like, brown hair Link, even though that's not even a thing. That was just the cartoons in America. Because it's just nostalgic and it was his childhood. But, like, him being like, Other M is good. It's like, what are you talking about?
There's some controversial opinions. Like, obviously I really like horror games. And I said it last week. I was like, I'll stand up in the church in that famous painting where the guy's standing up. And I'll say, I like Silent Hill Shattered Memories. And a lot of people will be like, but like,
I don't think people hate that game.
I'm not the kind of guy.
Like it for
I'm not the kind of guy to stand up and say I like Silent Hill Homecoming. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a part where you go too far. I'll do the same thing for Silent Hill 4 because a lot of people complain on that game, and I really like SH4, so I'll stand up there. I forget what that painting's called, but I think everyone knows what I'm talking about. It's like the guy in the jacket standing up in a church, like.
Yeah.
Not preaching, but like saying his opinion, and everyone's like, "Oh my god."
Do you know that guy who at BlizzCon asked Blizzard if this was an out-of-season April Fool's joke for Diablo Immortal?
A god tier man.
But my favorite thing is that there was some guy, or like people would edit that image of. Like, there's just a light shining down on him, and he's just like, he looks like an angel. And then it's just a massive, like, red, like, generic people. I love that image so much.
I'll have to look for that one. I've never seen that one. I've seen the ones where it's like, it's one guy in a sea of, like, NPCs, and he's like, yes, I am right and you are wrong. Like, it's like kind of like that, but... Also... BlizzCon in a year after, like, I don't know, 2013.
Blizzard is...
Shiggy diggy, shiggy do.
Blizzard has, yeah. I think they canceled one of the BlizzCons, too.
That makes
Maybe
sense.
one or two of them. But yeah, Blizzard's working on borrowed time.
Honestly, going to any con nowadays, including Comic-Con, shiggy diggy, shiggy do. I was talking to this one, I forget if I told this story, and I'm all for it. Like, this just shows different strokes for different folks. I'm not saying that what he did was wrong or bad. It's just something I wouldn't do. He was like, oh yeah, last year at Too Many Games they had like 4 voice actors from the Resident Evil series. So it was like the current, did I tell you this? Like the current Leon, the current Jill, current Claire, whatever.
Oh yeah, I think you said this during Village, but...
Okay, and he literally stood in line, like, the entire day, like, multiple hours for each person to get, like, a signature, and it's not to be a reseller or whatever. He's like, look at this, I got this signed on the whatever, and it's like, that's cool, but, like, I would never. Like, I just do not have that patience.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know.
He was like, I think he said something, and I don't want to misquote a person from, like, a year ago or whatever, but, like, I think he was like, oh, I got 3 of them on Friday, and then I was coming back on Saturday anyway, so I got, like, Wesker or whatever, and I was like, what in the hell? Like, imagine going to a con, but that's how they all are nowadays, because they're so popular. Like, if you want to go to New York Comic Con, I think Nate met Pedro Pascal, you know, the Joel from in the show, Joel from The Last of Us.
Yeah.
He met him, and he had to wait in line for, like, hours and hours, because he's, like, the big, like, A-list guy right now, and I'm like, I don't even know if I would wait 2 hours in line to meet Tom Brady, to be honest with you.
I was about to ask if you would wait 3 hours.
I honestly...
The problem is that you probably, like, speak to him, he just has, like, stock answers. You only have like 30 seconds with him.
They say never meet your heroes Because, like, the thing is, if someone's, like, your hero and there was anything off, like, if he was, like, tired, or if he was a little, like, curt, or, like, whatever, or if his, I don't know, breath smelled, or if he shook my hand and his handshake was, like, real weak. Remember that King of the Hill episode? Where he shakes George W. Bush's hand? And it's like, but you know what I mean? It's like, there's so many things that can go wrong that I'm like, why? Like, I would not do that. Daily reminder. Oh man, I just gotta restart watching King of the Hill, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the show's like, there's like 0 bad seasons.
No, the first couple are like weird and like kind of even. I don't want to say Beavis and Butthead-y, but like very raw like that. But it's still really good. I remember being freaked out when they did that, like, I think it was like an end of season or mid-season thriller where the Megalomart exploded. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And they were like, one of these characters will die. And it was Bucky! Luann's, I think that's his name, Bucky. Luann's boyfriend, no! Oh, so Simpsons. Speaking of something that's worse than King of the Hill overall, Simpsons did this thing where now in their like literal 40th season or whatever it is, 36 or whatever, they did one of these characters will die, and they showed like 10 characters, and like 8 of them were like, it wasn't like Bart, you know, but it was like, oh no, I don't know, not even Principal Skinner, like Edna Krabappel, like a level like that, and they ended up being Krusty's mom, who was introduced in an episode and then died in the same episode.
What? That's so lame.
And it was weird because it was Krusty. It was either Krusty's mom or Krusty's aunt, if you guys look this up. And the crazy thing is, Krusty, I assume, was like 50 years old, like 45 years old, and his mom looks like younger than Marge. It like makes no sense. Like she's not do you remember Homer's mom is like,
yeah, she has like visible like,
right, she did, there was nothing, and I was like, what is going on here? Like Krusty's at least 40. Even if you say it's a cartoon and no time has passed since season 1, he's at least 40. Right? And he's probably like 50. So I was like,
I always assume that Krusty and Homer have like the same age because they look like identical.
Well, I guess that's true. Then Homer, I think canonically is like literally my age, or like 38 or something like that.
I assumed he was like 40 flat or something, late 30s.
I think canonically he's like 36, 38, something like that. But yeah, when I saw that, they were like, they posted it on TV and they were like, who will die? And I guess it already happened.